Hello, I'm Amber Uper, and this is a model kit review. And for today's kit review, we have a model of the Sopwith Baby, which was a float plane, as you can see. It's a World War I float plane. And this kit is made by Eduard of the Czech Republic, and it's in 172 scale. So let's take a look at this. Here's the box. And we look here, you can see Eduard Model Accessories, Czech Republic, 172 scale unassembled model kit. And then we'll go around this way. British World War I float fighter. So, this is kind of tricky because it gets real close to the camera here. There's the end. The other end of the box. Well, if I turn it around this way, it'll make sense. There we go. Kit number 07202. Alright, so let's see what's in the box. Here we have the decal sheet, which is in really nice shape. It looks like it's a relatively new decal sheet. It's not yellowed out at all, so lots of different decals. It's kind of interesting. Alright, here's all the parts. This includes some photo etch parts, as you can see. We'll look at that in a minute. The bag is still closed because I haven't dug into it yet. Let's take a look at the instructions first, like I always do. Move that out of the way. So here is the instructions. And this is your different parts. This is the labeling of the parts. And here's where to find them on the... Oh, wait, no. This is PE part, PE part, PE part. Photo etched. Looks like there's some really interesting stuff there. All kinds of stuff for this plane. In 172 scale, that's pretty neat. So, let's take a look at the assembly instructions. Try to get this relatively flat for you. Starts with the putting the interior in the body. Not much to the interior, just, your basic stuff. This foot pedal is the flight stick with the wheel. Then you get into your details here. That I believe that's the throttle, but I could be wrong. Your seatbelt kit, those I'm sure are photo etched parts. So then we go to putting the two body halves together, and it's showing a couple extra pieces you got to put in. I don't know, these might be, that's the instrument panel. It's probably photo etch. Looks like it. Crazy photo etch parts in a 172 scale kit like this. So then we have putting the bottom wing on, and the wing struts, and the tail plane, and all the the struts. I think if they're not PE, they're at least part PE. Your motor here. Looks like just showing you where to put the detail parts on the motor. And then there it is. Your cowling. Let's see. Then we go to putting the upper wing on here. There's your machine gun. That goes on top of the wing. They didn't have the interrupter gear on that. And your propeller. There's only one propeller. I'm not sure why they do this. I think maybe there's two different kinds of propeller here, depending on your shape. So, then some detail on the Lewis gun. Your pan apparently is made with photo etch parts. So, that's kind of interesting. And all along it gives you colors to paint also. Aluminum, black, gunmetal, all the various things. And we get into the struts for the floats. These are the two main floats here, the assembly of them. And these obviously are PE parts because you got to bend the struts to fit what you're doing. And now this is your angle for the struts, for the float struts, yeah, that. So then we have, I believe that's the tail float right here, and I think that's actually a rudder. It goes on the back of the tail float underneath, and your detail parts for that, your struts. And then you have what looks like it could be a bomb. It gets carried underneath the plane. There's your little bomb carriage. Now I bet you these are photo etched parts for the fins. Interesting. And okay, well, it looks like there's two bomb placements here, one under each side. Not sure how that works because they got to be behind the floats, otherwise they'll fall onto the floats, right? And here's mounting the floats to the body, and then there's some other parts here, little detail parts. A lot of detail parts. And then the rigging. Should you decide you want to string this all up, here's all your rigging instructions on where to put all your wires, rigging wires. It's quite the process. And then you have your paint. This is 1916 paint scheme. And then your paint designation for what you have, what color to paint where. So, and let's see, then you've got RNAS Flex Toe, early 1916, different units apparently, and the painting on that. Tested by U.S. Navy, May of 1918. There's the paint scheme on that. And Norwegian Air Force, early 1920s. So there's lots of choices here for your paint. Interesting stuff. Okay, so we'll put that over here. And now let's open the bag and see what we got in there. A lot of it's pretty basic. The photo etch parts should be rather interesting to look at. One staple. Come on, there. Two staples. All right. Staples. And we don't have them anymore. Okay, so let's do this. Leave them there. So there's the back side of the parts. There's a lot of flash on these parts, as you can see. Bring it up a little closer. I'm going to lose the light if I do that. You can see a flash over here on this. That's one of the pontoons. So yeah, there's some flash to clean up, and you got this part here and here. Some flash there. Tiny little body on this thing. There's your engine cowling parts. There's your tail, your horizontal tail surfaces. That's your vertical tail. Well, you can choose either propeller. I suppose that depends on which version of the plane. There's the motor. Boy, the way they cast that motor, the sprues go right in between the cylinders, so that should be interesting to dig out and get that fixed. You got two Lewis guns here. I'm not sure why. Let's take a look at that box again. See. It's just one guy here. It shows the gun in here, but the instructions show it up on the top, so I'm not really sure. Anyway, so that's your parts. That's all there is to it. Both wings are one piece. Little trimming, cleanup, should assemble pretty decently. So here's the fun stuff right here. This is your photo etched parts. And let's see if I can get that. Yeah. So that's one photo etched part. I assume that's the seat. And it's just all the various detail parts. That would be your instrument cluster. And this goes behind the instrument cluster. I don't know if that's a decal or I think it's just something you glue on the back. And then you got your control wheel and the stick that the wheel goes onto for your for the pilot's control. And then you've got this one here. This is more details, which are those are just going to be miserable to work on. And then you got, these are for the pan, for the machine gun. And then over here, here's all your struts. Your wing struts, your float struts. These are the crossbars for the 2 floats. So that's what's in this kit. That could be interesting. This is not a beginner's kit, apparently, with all the photo etch parts, right? But that is what's in this kit. So I'll put that back in the bag. And so that is my model kit review for the Sopwith Baby in 1/72 scale, as produced by Eduard of the Czech Republic. And this says 1993 Czech Republic. So this was right after it was no longer Czechoslovakia. So that's it for this model kit review. Thanks for watching.